Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Suklam Bharadaram Vishnum Sashivaranam Chatubhajam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sava Vignu Prashantay. Om Bhurabhuvasuvaha Tatsavitur Vahinyam Bhako Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a lovely week. It was kind of interesting week after the new moon with the solar eclipse and the energy of the week before, which was very intense. I know you guys couldn't, it was hard to hear us because of this patchy internet, but what I was saying is I found that it was very interesting the mantras that we've been using over this past month and how it's kind of correlated to what has been transpiring not only on the planet, but also what was needed for those particular weeks. And it's always amazing to me how the Guru Purnima will guide and direct what needs to happen. And so it's that trusting of that guru, of our gurus, to guide and lead us to work in this world and to use the tools that we've been given. So I think after the intensity of the week before, using the arrows and then also with all the energetics that were happening to come into the sky mantra, it was like almost like a, you know, using the sky mantra as things, it's kind of like as the dust was settling, so to speak. It really helped for me personally just to feel a sense of peace and also quietness after the intensity of the week before. So, and the week reflected that for me and work and everything else, just being a quieter week, a quieter, less intense week. So I'd like to hear, and I want to say I really appreciate everybody and all the groups and having them step up and take on the challenge, but take on the task of really going deeper into these aspects, because I think as you do that, your knowledge gets deeper, your understanding gets deeper, and as you're teaching it, there's something that comes forward that you go, wow, I didn't know I had that in me, or wow, now I have a better understanding and clarity on a particular point. So when we're having to do the research and then teach it, there's a depth in there that you start understanding more and more. So thank you all for being willing to step forward and take on this the tasks that you've been given. So I'd like to hear how this week went for people using the sky mantra. Does anybody like to share? Oh, also one other point. At the end of this call, we're going to do a 5-minute meditation sending healing, okay? For everybody that can use that healing energy. So, all right, Suzanne, you had your hand up?
Yes, because last week I was like 4 days in silence and I didn't speak on a Sunday. So my report now is from 2 weeks, right? So the week, so not last week, but the week before, was quite, I am totally surprised what happened to me in this lineage. It's amazing. It's I would say I get the full blessing now from many sides. So I was, just to make it short, I was joining a satsang with Andrea in Germany, and because I have sometimes in my life I have problems with black magic, like these dark, very dark things. And then we had a satsang, and she was giving some tools, and there was this Hanuman Chalisa, and I didn't know what it is. I don't know Hanuman. I don't know what is a Chalisa. I didn't know anything about it. And then I heard it for the first time, and I got such a strong blessing. I was totally, the first the sound started, and I was just full of goose pimples, and then I could just go down to the floor and bow down. And then I saw myself at Shri Baba's feet. It was amazing. It was such a total deep connection I have to him. It was just there. So I was totally speechless. And and with this, some it was like fields opening for new perception. Like I was perceiving some people also who I know having a very deep connection to this tradition and to Hanuman, and it was just things opening up. And then I was just a few days listening to this, and everything like opening new fields of perception, I would say. So that was the first week. And the second week now, I had, because things are opening up more and more, it's getting quite intense and very complex. So I was always a little bit clairvoyant, but now it's getting so strong that I can see like different life I had with karmic patterns, and it looks like I can see a matrix just over reality. So it seems like I just see that this is an illusion. Like it's manifesting the illusion. So looks like I can really decide this is illusion. Okay, but this is so strong, like still sticking to my being. And then I was also feeling like in the chakras, the connection between this illusion and where it's connected to the chakras. It's so many things happening. I'm totally speechless. So all this I had to digest. And I'm so thankful that I'm in contact with Andrea, and she was always like giving, okay, you need more protection circles, because also the black magic thing was getting really weird. Like it is really scary. What is I mean, I'm not afraid at all, but somehow it's scary how it shows up, like what I have been in my past life and what I did and how the connection with people are, and this is really a lot of things to digest. And and there was one thing, another experience I had like last week. I was in the city, and I had to do some shopping, like 4 hours in a row, doing this and this and this. And then I was just very weak, and I thought, oh, my headache, because also the crown is somehow opening, and because all the perceptions coming in all the time. And then I could just drive the car to the side and sleep, because I was so overwhelmed of everything. And then it was just like, okay, 2 minutes more and I would just totally collapse. And then I slept for 1.5 hours in the car. And when I woke up, because in the first shopping, in the first 2 hours of shopping, I saw the very ugly matrix of this black magic things and all these connections, and it was really overwhelming. So then I fall in sleep, and I was just holding the Shiva lingam and like praying, like, Sri Kaleshwar, please help me now. I have no idea what to do. How to handle all these perceptions. And then I fall asleep, and then I woke up, and then everything was very clear. So the matrix was still there, but it was a little in a distance, and I was safe somehow. So I was not in all this emotional and sticky feelings with these pictures. And then I looked out of the car. I was still very dizzy, and I just saw the sign of Vishnu in front of me outside. There was a wheel, and there was this Vishnu sign. And then I said, "Oh my God, that's the blessing now. So this is like, I'm safe. Yeah, I'm totally safe. Whatever is happening, I'm so safe. Nothing can ever happen." So then I felt more stability. And the day after, Andrea told me that yeah, Vishnu is also, when so much negativity is there, it's just a good tool for this. So I'm totally amazed how all these things happen. And yeah, now. I in this morning also was very strong. I was very deep in a very sad story with this black magic connections also of this life. And then I said, okay, I just listened to Hanuman Chalisa again. And then then I did this, and I was on the floor again in total devotion, and again at Baba's because it is so sad, all these stories we had to go through and all this past life garbage what we did, and I mean it's so heavy. Yeah, and then I was just praying and crying from gratitude that these methods are given now to me to all dissolve all this karma that is so hard to carry with me. Yeah, and then from this like black magic connection person, I at the very moment where I was praying, I got a message on my phone, and in the same moment I had to vomit. It was so strong. Like it came and I had to vomit. It was like, and I also saw, okay, that's also how energies are working. Yeah, so this is my lecture at the moment. I make so many experiences, and it's just amazing. So I'm super grateful, and I'm totally connected to Baba and to Swami. It's amazing. Like I've always been. Yeah. So I'm really speechless. Yeah. And yeah, and then another thing I wanted to ask, because one Sri Kaleshwar disciple I had contact when I did the 5 elements, so a year ago, and she told me I should be careful. Swami said not to mix traditions. So I just wanted to ask you, because I'm meditating for 20 years in the Buddhist tradition, and I mean, it's very strong what is happening now, but my karma is definitely also with Sri Sai Baba and Swami. So what do you think about this? Anything?
Well, Buddha is part of our tradition. So you're not really mixing traditions.
Right.
And
but I would just caution against, like, if you're doing like a Buddhist meditation process, I mean, don't, or healing on somebody, don't mix the mantras. Because in the Buddhist tradition, like the way you hold a mala and the purpose of using a mala is very different. Okay, you're burning karmas, is my understanding. Where in Swami's tradition, it's more you're building up energy. So, and, you know, and Swami always said about the traditions, you don't want to put, you know, a man's head on a woman's body or something like that. So Buddha is part of our tradition. There are some differences in practice. So, you know, what you want to do is, you know, if you're doing the mantras and doing a process, you're doing one meditation session, you know, you're just focusing on the mantras of this lineage and Swami. You can do your Buddhist meditation or practices, do it at another time, like during the day. It doesn't mean you have to give up those practices. They all, you know, they're not like in direct contradiction, but there are some differences in practice and intention. And so you wouldn't want to do it all at one time, you know, because Swami's channels are very specific and the Buddhist channels are also very specific. I mean, there, you know, there is the Kala Chakra process, which comes from Buddha. But like I said, there's just some differences. So, you know, you don't have to give up your practice. You know, it's not about, you know, we're not supposed to turn this into a religion, you know. So it's a practice of the heart. And as long as you're following a path of heart, but just do it at a separate time. And it's more because of energetic things, not because it's right or wrong. They're just energetic principles. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I'll just comment on that. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just a different vibrational frequency. And this particular path, Suzanne, it has tremendous amount of power to it, and it's got love as well, but it's got a lot of power. And this particular path focuses on the mechanisms of that, those layers, you know, and they're different vibrational frequencies of purification and awakening that are designed, that were designed specifically to really integrate, open, and empower your soul specifically. And I know it may be overwhelming, you know, it's been overwhelming for me for years to really understand Swami's technique, his focus, his direction, where was he going with all this stuff. And ultimately, it's about strengthening and opening your soul in relationship to these different layers and levels of energy. Like you're opening yourself up to the angels, you're opening up yourself to a divine soul, and you're establishing this bridge and this relationship so that you can participate in this world with these energies to help help other people. You know, ultimately, he says, you know, you know, you want to establish a connection directly to Mother Divine, which is one of the higher channels of this particular path. Why? Because she lives within you, and you actually live in her, but you're just completely unaware of it. And so his role is to bring your vibrations up to a point where you recognize that energy within you, and you don't feel separate from Mother Divine or Divine Soul. So you can get to a point of operating and implementing and using those energies in a way that allow your soul to make a contribution to humanity. And so part of that process is purification. So you're just a divine soul in a body having a human experience, but you're not fully aware of it. And so the purpose of these satsangs, the purpose of us coming together is so we can start recognizing this universal connection. We can start recognizing that we have these channels and start exercising it like a muscle for the end purpose of helping the planet. You know, okay, what good does it do you if you have a Mother Divine darshan and she gives you a blessing to be able to do something in the world? The importance of it is that you've established a strong relationship with a divine channel. And it takes time. It takes practice. It takes, you know, awareness. And it takes you to manage these energies. Right now, you're discovering the whole dynamic of this creation where there are positive forces and there are also negative forces, right? That's a beautiful discovery, because what happened is that there's been a shift in your consciousness, and now you're aware of your own energy, and you're aware that there is a contradictory energy within this creation called negativity. And now you're making a conscious effort to implement the energy that you've received in order to balance that out and kind of make distinctions in your life so that you can go to the next level and the next level. So thanks, Mohini, for sharing that. So the point of it is that, you know, I did City Yoga for 20 some odd years. And I was involved with Muktananda, Guru Mai, and so on and so on and so forth. Then I entered this particular path because I had gone as far as I could on that path, and I couldn't go any further. So my soul reached out to the universe saying, okay, what am I going to do next? And then all of a sudden, the next, few months, Swami Kaleshwar comes to California. And then I met him, and then it opened up a whole realm of reality. So the point being is that you want to keep the energy focused on the practices of this path, so you can see the results directly, and you can make that shift in awareness. Okay, I've done this mantra for a certain period of time. Oh, I received this particular energy or protection circle. You talked about protection circles. Yes, when you're on this path, you're actually enveloped with the energy that helps protect you in your spiritual process. So those are my comments on that. Thanks for bringing up that point. It's good.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. But I see the process as happening organically. So you have to follow that inner guidance, and the timing is right. I mean, I think, most of us have come from other paths or have done other forms of meditation, shamanism, there's Native American teachings. There's a range of practices that I think paths we've come from. And, our soul, like Paul said, our soul knows when it's time to do something different, or we need it to have another experience or learn something new. And it guides us. I mean, there are no accidents. You came to this path for a very specific reason, and there was a higher guidance that was bringing you here. Your energy today looks amazing. You are so much lighter and so much brighter. I can see it. I mean, there's a whole shift in your energy. It's amazing.
And she's smiling, and she's smiling more.
And laughing, yeah. And so it was, you had to come here. You needed these experiences. And these divine souls are on the highest levels. They're all connected. We're all one. So the different beings are there to guide us at different points in our process. And it's good to be focused, like Paul was saying. And, so you understand that you begin to learn the mechanisms of the energy. So every path is a different purpose, different intention. They bring you different things, different lessons. So it's really good to focus. And then that's why we need to keep things separately, so you understand what is coming from where. But the process of, the process typically happens organically. The more you do work, the more you get this reflection back from the nature that something is working for you. The shift happens automatically because your soul knows what you need. I get into the problem when it's the mind saying, you must do this or you must do that. You can't do this and you can't do that, because that's coming from the mind. And when you set up those rules, then you get into another situation like, what Swami used to call the Vatican, or any kind of dogma. So you have to always follow your heart. And if you truly are in alignment with yourself and your highest good, and you really follow your heart, everything will unfold for you naturally. And what you really need to do is just understand the principles of the practice, and then everything else will follow. But I like to stay away from, those theoretical discussions about right and wrong, because there is no right and wrong. It's about what's right for you in a given moment based on your personal path and your personal process. And everybody is different. And sometimes, Swami would say people come to learn with him for a period of time. They receive something, they leave, they move on to another path. Sometimes people come and they're there for life, because that is the path. So you will receive what you're meant to receive, and you always have to trust that inner guidance. And right now it sounds like it's a perfect match, and you look amazing.
Yeah, but it's all, yeah. This is, I call it blessing, or in our language we always say blessing, and I feel so much light, because also my body is told there is so much bliss coming up through the channels, and it's amazing. But there is also in this, I have a very important question, because I find now that the matrix or the karma for me is there is a lot of purification in the in one subject, like it is a relationship and connected to black magic, because I have very tough karma in this. And the guy I told you where the message came today, he just told me a few days ago that when he was younger and in his past life, he was doing black magic. I am connected with him. And then the question now is, I gave him, in Buddhism, we don't talk so much about power objects, but I had a mala, which I did like 200,000 mantras at least, and I gave it to him, and he's wearing that all the time. And now it's a question to you. What do you suggest if there's a connection with a power object with somebody like that? Can I do something? You have any idea?
You can pull back I mean, if you're really ready to let him go and the connection go, you can pull back the energy from the mala. I mean, you don't need to take the physical object back, but you can pull back the energy. And I would also suggest a Sudarshana Homa to cut off the connection once and for all.
This is a fire
So
ceremony once?
it's a very special type of fire ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
So that cuts off black magic. Very, very powerful. I mean, it's amazing. We used it here to help someone who's involved with devil worship. I mean, anyway, cut the connection off there. It's very, very powerful for black magic. So yeah,
Andrea,
one time usually is enough.
Andrea, do you know how to do that? So maybe you can connect up with Andrea and have a discussion regarding that.
Right. And then the other part of that would just be pulling back your energy from the mala.
We do this just in intention, setting intention to cut this relationship totally. How?
Well, Andrea can talk to you about that. You're just linking to it's your power object. You gave it to him, right? It belonged to you originally. It's your Astartes power. So you can hook to that energy and set your intention to pull back that energy to your soul. And then you would do the Sudarshana Homa after that to cut the cord, cut your link to him karmically.
Mm.
Because you're making a different choice. You always, we have free will. You can make a choice at any point in time to break whatever contract you had, to break whatever links you had, because you're choosing something different at this point in your life. Okay, and you have to really go into it with a super strong intention, so you can't have any doubt or any reservation. You're done, you're finished, you're moving on, period. Arrow. And then the Sudarshana Homa, Vishnu, okay, is the great protector. It's Vishnu's supernatural weapon that would help break that connection for you. And you got the sign already. You already saw his symbol.
Symbol after this totally.
Isn't it perfect?
What magic day! It was amazing. Yes.
The divine is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
everything's about timing.
what?
And everything is timing. It always is at the right time.
And
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
And also the nature is telling you something. A lot of things within this path are subtle. Some things are not so subtle when you see the V of a Vishnu, but it's the message behind that, because it's the Guru Parampara sending you a message that the Vishnu energy is actively helping you to clean up aspects of your life that are holding your soul, or just putting a little bit weight there. And it's always the nature. I mean, also, you can, we're talking about implementation, and also Shirdi Sai Baba is a huge energy, and you can ask his soul for that, to help you with that intention. I mean, that's all he's there to do, is to help free you of these karmic bonds, these negative tendencies, and the things that that weigh us down. Don't underestimate the relationship you have with Shirdi Sai Baba, Swami Kaleshwar, so on and so forth. That is one of the biggest protection circles, because to have a divine soul always around you, they're always protecting you. And that's very, very, very important. That's what the whole Guru Purnima is about strengthening that relationship, and also engaging that in that relationship of Mother Divine as well. You know, Mahakali, you know, you heard this Mahakali word before. That is one of the most powerful forms of positivity to help cut, burn. You know, it's the inner fire element that helps cut and burn all those negative tendencies and those connections. And nothing, and I mean nothing, can penetrate that barrier. Isn't this great? We're talking about implementation in this satsang, how we develop these relationships and these tools to help us in our lives. I mean, it's kind of like I had the same issue when I first started this path. It was kind of like, whoa, you know, it's like, you know, I became more sensitive to the negative dark forces because as I was increasing my positive vibrations, they were like, you know, it's just the balance in the nature. So great. Thanks for that share. Thanks, Mohini. Great points that you had there. Kowski, are we going to move on? Are we going to be talking? Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can share one thing about implementation since that's where it kind of steered into. And I also want to say welcome to the family, Suzanne. Welcome to the Sai family. It's pretty amazing and it is very intense also. It's everything. So when the COVID thing started and I found myself at home, one of the things I started doing is arati every morning and washing my babas. And this is something that I just never did, you know, even though I've been on the path for a long time. And as an American, and, you know, we got a lot of hangups, or maybe I should say a Westerner. There's always a part of me that says, this is really stupid. What are you doing? And then I tell myself, shut up. It's a mechanism. Shut up. It's a mechanism. So I'm waving and I'm singing and I'm, you know, and then I'm washing my babas and I'm like, this is really stupid. And then I think, shut up, it's a mechanism. So it's like there's so many different things that we already know that we don't implement, and simple things, really simple things. So every single morning without fail, for a couple months now, and I'm going to keep it going because I think the inertia just kind of, once you get something started, right, it just kind of moves in that direction. So some things are opening up for me, some opportunities that I'll talk about later. Maybe I don't want to jinx them by saying stuff too soon, but I'll share that.
Paul?
Okay, so we're going to go into some of the material. Actually, we have been going into the material. We're not aware of it. So one of the, we're in that implementation phase right now where we're going into a moon cycle called Guru Purnima, and it is the biggest full moon of the year. And we're going into that cycle of energy of intimate relationship with the masters, with our gurus, with our teachers, with our divine souls. And it's the time every year that we connect energetically with the vibrations of the moon, the guru, our soul. And it's a mechanism. You know, we oftentimes talk about the importance of the mechanism of that relationship. And one of the, you know, we sent out a bunch of 3 handouts. And when you read through it, you'll see that the common theme of this handout is the relationship with the divine, which we can't always see with our 2 eyes. And it's always linked through the heart. And it's not the romantic heart, it's the hub of where our soul resides primarily. And it's that relationship that Swami really focused on over and over and over again. He said, open your heart to the divine, fall in love with the divine, find your connection with the Guru through the heart chakra. And it's really the element of the earth element that is linking us through the heart chakra to the spiritual heart of both the Guru Parampara, but also the mother. It's both. And it's, you know, it's a very powerful time, and it's a really important time to receive. And it's also a really important time to let go of that which holds us down on at a soul level. And there are things that we need to learn to let go of. You know, let go of fear. You know, fear is a big block between us and the Guru. And but that's part of the Maya. That's part of this 5 elements creation. That's one of her mechanisms of duality. It's what separates us. So our job is to figure out how we're going to open our hearts to that energy. I mean, Suzanne, you've already done that. You know, it's kind of, I use you as an example because it's such a unique example, because what's happened is that you've let go of an old part of yourself and shedded it like a cobra. Same time, you've opened your heart to this energy on a deep level, and you've received that energy to your soul. So it's actually feeding your soul. It's actually very present in your life. So you've already really taken the first steps to that relationship. And however it manifests, whether it be relationship with Shirdi Sai Baba, whether it be a relationship to Mother Divine, whether it be relationship to Swami Kaleshwar, whatever it is, because we can't see it, you know, our soul can't necessarily see it, but we feel it, we sense it, we experience it, we see the reflection in the nature. You know, the nature's always constantly showing us signs and guiding us and allowing us to grow. So in this 1 week before Guru Purnima, which is next Saturday, we're going to implement some specific tools. And, you know, this is not, I'm going to say that this path is really simple in the sense it's about love, but it's also about power. And we want to cultivate both of those aspects in our spiritual path, because we want to have clarity going into this period of time about what we want and what we need in our spiritual path. Going into this time, the doors are going to be opening energetically, and we want to be clear when we're at the threshold of this time that we are going to know what we want. We're going to have a clear intention. We're going to have an open heart, and we're going to focus our energies in a specific way. Now, I brought up the word intention because Mohini's going to talk about that, what that means, and how important it is, because it's not about just going in and getting the bliss. You know, bliss is easy. You know, I'll give you a mantra. You can do the sky mantra, you'll go into bliss. It's about understanding the energy and how it operates so that you can receive something that's going to be of value to you and the world and the people that are going to be touching your life, whatever it is. So it's a time, and Swami talked about this. That's what's so amazing about his this path, because it's about being consciously aware and being masterful about what we need in the world. And Mohini's going to talk a little bit about it, but he always, whenever we would enter a process, and we are entering the process of Guru Purnima, right, Mohini? We're going to be entering this phase. So part of our job is to help everyone to understand, to get some level of clarity. Well, what's the opportunity here, and how can I use it in a masterful way? Mastery, mastery means knowing how to work with the elements and work with these divine channels in a way to receive a blessing, to receive a channel, to receive an awakening and be aware of an opportunity, so that your life can be an expression of the divine to help the world. Mohini? Don't you love how we work together? We just kind of toss over the baton and just kind of like, here you go, take the baton and run with it.
All right. We were batting this around last night, actually, the three of us. And that's the same process we're doing today. It's really powerful in terms of grinding the knowledge, because when we bounce off of each other, it's just really helpful. Everyone has a slightly different perspective. So Swami, you were talking about fear. Swami said, I have a lot of fear with my students, guys. Swami's fear is a little bit different. He said, it's the fear of a not stable mind. So he was worried about his students not having a stable mind. Until now, they don't know exactly what they want. For sure, they talk like very clearly, but in the depth of their heart, they don't know exactly what they want. And then he goes on to say, I made them to think, different program. What do you really want? What specialization in your life to help the world? You know what I'm saying? Still little Leela, still Leela. So, Swami was always challenging us, to move towards that path of mastery. And the biggest pitfall, there are a couple of them, is fear. One of the biggest blocks we have is fear. But the other aspect is we just don't have clarity. And that is something that, you get more and more over time, the more you study the knowledge and integrate. But clarity is really important, especially when we're building up power. And, like Paul said, every time we go into a process, there's an opportunity to receive something, particularly at Guru Purnima. Swami has the right and the ability at that time to bless his students with something, or actually Baba, but he would ask Baba, and Baba would bless his students with boons, gifts. So it's a really powerful time to receive something. But the problem with the students is always just having lack of clarity. What do you ask for? And the problem is there's just not alignment, in terms of, your soul knows why you're here. Your soul knows what you came here to do. But the mind kind of interferes. It gets very monkey, as Swami would call it. And it can lead us off into different directions. And typically where the mind goes crazy is in the realm of desire. So, the creative power has to do with kama. But kama is also the biggest, there's creative power in kama energy, desire energy. So there's great power to create things, but that same energy on the other side can be the most destructive force there is. And it can lead you down a path of, abuse of power, name, fame, and material things. So, the way that we're walking is, Swami always said, you need to have desires to live in the world, but we have to hone our desires and refine them. So what our desire is a spiritual desire, and we don't fall off the path into the desire for material things. To have clarity of your purpose, why you're here, who were you before, why have you come here now, what is your goal, what are you here to do in life? And to get to that point in time before we're old and ready to leave our body. So Swami was always working to balance the kama and the kala, so our desire energy versus time. So to speed up that process of purification, so we can drop the desires that aren't serving us or that are diverting us, and to really ask deeply, heartfully, the things that will fulfill our soul's desire, our mission, why we're here. We're here for a purpose, especially this path, because this is a path of power. And this is a time in the world where we're moving into higher vibrations, and there's this, transformation, ascension, and everyone here on this call is here to facilitate that. That's what you're here for. So this is a really powerful time to say, okay, well, what do you want? What's your specialty? What's your role? What do you want to do? How do you want to help the world? But it's always, you start with, how do you want to help the world? And then go back and ask for, that ability or that channel, versus going with the power and then say, but then I'll use it to help the world. So yeah, I want to do Kundalini yoga. Okay, but what's the purpose of that? So like when you work that way, I want the power, then it shows that there's a block there. Okay. So it's really heartfully, what do you want to do to help the world? And then the divine will show you with these brilliant thoughts what you need to ask for to get to that point. So if you want to, on a large scale, cut people's negativity and karma, and to help them, fix their lives in a beautiful way, and then we're talking about Kundalini yoga. But what's the desire? The desire is, how do you want to help the world? So you want to help the world by helping people get out of their karma-related karmas, okay, or to heal the heartbreak, or, and then if you ask for the heartfelt desire, you'll be led to the knowledge and what to read, or someone like Paul will tell you, okay, oh, that's that yoga that you're asking, that you want. And then on Guru Purnima, you can have that clarity arrow, but it always has to be in service, because you're never given anything for fun. It's to be used, and whatever you need will be provided to you. But Guru Purnima is a tremendous opportunity. And before any process, like Paul mentioned, Swami would always say, okay, think your 3 wishes before going into a process. Hopefully, he was hoping that we'd hit one of them correct. What do you want? What blessing do you want? And again, it's that clarity. So this week leading up to Guru Purnima, it's really good to sit in meditation and think about clearly, what do you personally want to do to help the world? Okay. And, Swami said this is an important part of our process always. Like every so often, you really need to check in with yourself. What's happening in my process? Where am I going? Where do I feel stuck? What do I feel like I need to drop? What do I want to do? And particularly up, in this next week, it's really a good time to check in. And in your heart of hearts, what would give you a spark of excitement, enthusiasm? How do you want to help? Doing what? Do you want to work towards healing abuse, healing hunger, healing people's hearts, washing karma, transmuting negativity? Think about, what pulls you in your heart, and sit clearly in meditation when you're fully aligned with the Guru Parampara, and ask Baba and Swami. It's, like Paul was saying earlier in Kaleshwar, it's the mechanism is through the Guru, right? It's the soul sits in the heart, and the Guru Stone links to our heart. It's the Guru. So link to them and ask for that, help you see that clarity. And, so really think deeply, because this is a really good opportunity. And Swami said, never trust the time. We have an opportunity in a week. Don't waste the opportunity. Have the clarity. And you can get into that place of clarity by using any Shiva mantra, because that's the Shiva energy goes for clarity. That's how he worked with the mother. The mother is the Maya. The mother is the illusion. Any Shiva mantra will help bring you to that place of clarity. Use your intention, connect to the Guru, connect to Swami, connect to Baba, and ask. You have to ask. And that's also a mechanism of the energy. You have to ask for what you want. You will not just be given it. You have to ask. And you have to ask for something that's in alignment and that is for the good. And it's not just personal. It's for the greater good as well. I mean, anything we do helps our own soul evolution, but any boon that we receive for a jump beyond our normal trajectory or our own process, like a jump in, like a soul expansion, that's a gift, and it has to be in alignment for the greater good. And then we have to drop expectation. We have to drop the desire of what the outcome will look like, and as much as we might want to perform a miracle or have some great ability, again, you have to think back to, where is that coming from? where is that desire to perform a miracle coming from? Miracles happen all the time. And, it's, Swami talked about surrender, which is an important part of the process. And the transcripts that Paul sent are really great, especially, I think if you can't read all of them, at least read the Master's Role and Opening Your Hridaya Chakra before next week, before Guru Purnima, because there's some really important points in there. And I think it would be really helpful if you can't get to all of them. But, surrender is an important part of the process. We're here to be of service. And if you're truly of service and you bow down to divine will, then they take care of everything. So you can't be attached to whatever the gift looks like. You have to have the heartfelt desire, and how we end up, what we receive and how we end up implementing, may not always be very, or we may think it's not very exciting or large, grand. And sometimes that's part of the test. I don't know if you wanted to add here, Kelsey, because you were talking about this yesterday, about the day-to-day implementation of the energy.
Right. So sometimes people with their desires might think that needs to look like this huge ability to take care of, like, you have millions of followers and you have like this big thing, but it doesn't necessarily need to look like that. If we look at on our day-to-day basis, how many people we are interacting with and meeting, talking to, sending prayers to, whatever it is, it's the day-to-day that we are really affecting change or helping others. Maybe one conversation with someone, what you say to them or just listening really helps them through a difficult moment in their life. And so if we look at how this is going, and Swami used to say, eye shots, do your personal mantra, give the eye shots to somebody, sending your love and your prayers to them is all you need to do, and then walk away. I mean, there's so many things that we can do in our day-to-day life to help on the planet and to make somebody, give somebody a little relief. I mean, so it can look that way. It doesn't have to look like a big grand plan. It just means that, we're using our tools that Swami gave us on a day-to-day basis to help others. And that's where we're affecting change. Also, Swami said, take care of 10 people around you. So look at who you are in close contact with, your 10 people that you're around, like your coworkers, your family, close friends, you're there and you're helping take care. He said, take your little bucket. We don't have to take the ocean. Just take the little bucket and work in that way to help take care on the planet. So, some people's dharma is going to be greater, and some of us, we're just affecting change on the day-to-day in our circles and those that we're coming in contact with. So I think that's super important for us to recognize that we are helping and we're making a difference. So that's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm. And just in terms of the mechanism of that, Aham Brahmasmi, okay, so we're all one, we're all connected. And Swami talked about, so literally all of our souls are connected, okay? At some point, right? Somewhere we are all interconnected. There's one large consciousness. And those are energetic links, okay? And then Swami always talked about mirrorism, and that people mirror things to us. There's always this reflection going back and forth. So when you're taking the energy and you're helping somebody, whether it's a small way or a big way, you're changing the consciousness, the greater consciousness. Whether it's one person or 100 people, you're changing the energy of the consciousness. So it is significant. And you don't know, if you help one person, what that person's dharma is or what their role is, what that person's going to go on to do. You just don't know the greater picture. but you are affecting the greater consciousness. And when you're working with to help heal one person, okay, there's no accident that this person comes in front of you. Even if it's a client you're doing healing on, there are no accidents. There's something in that person that's mirroring. Okay, you're at some vibrational level. There's vibrational resonance because that person came to you, no one else. Anyone you engage with in your day-to-day life, there's a connection there. I mean, that's karma, right? We interact with people, our families, our friends, people in the world. They're energetic connections, they're karmas. And everything is a mirror. We're in one big holographic mirror, you know? So you do a healing on someone, there's some kind of reflection going on there. And as you are sending energy to heal that person, what do you think, what's happening? That energy is also healing something inside of you. There's a reflection that goes back and forth. And it's not just you, it's healing the same quality in the greater consciousness. Okay?
Is Pam,
So,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's a great story. So, you know, it's good to start looking at what we do that way, because every single thing we do is important because of this greater connection that we all have. So that's all I wanted to add there. Kowski?
Yeah. Pam, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Would you be willing to share what transpired for your purse story?
Oh, okay. I'll say it very, very briefly. The reason I wasn't on the call a couple weeks ago when we did our presentation is our house got broken into, and we called the police, and our neighbors told us what the guy looked like. And then about right when I was going to get back on the phone with you guys, the kid who broke into our house rode his bike back through, or I guess he ditched his bike and he was picking it back up. And so we went over to him and I asked him, "Hey man, did you take my purse?" And because that's the only thing that was missing. He was a drug addict. He just wanted cash. So he quickly grabbed my purse and left. Then he came back to get his bike. So I asked him point blank, did you take my purse? My neighbor said you fit the description, and he didn't say he did, and he didn't say he didn't. So I said, well, I have some really important things in there, and I really, really need it back. If I give you $20, will you bring it back to me? And he kind of looked at me, and my neighbor was there, my husband was there. They were ready to beat the guy up, and I was holding those two men back. And I just spoke very, very softly to him, and I said, you know, I really need this back. Please, please, please go get it. And so he agreed. And so about 20 minutes later, he brought the purse back, and inside was my passport, my credit cards, some POs. Everything was in there except that he took the cash. And so I gave him the money, and I asked him if he was hungry. Did he want more money? And he started crying. He said he was a drug addict and he, needed help. And in the meantime, my husband, Scott, is like honking the horn, get in the car, don't talk to him, don't touch him. And so I was waving, calm down, Scott. And so I just looked into his eyes and I said, look, I'm here to help you. What do you need? And he just kept crying and crying. He said he just had a baby. He was homeless. And I said, well, would you like me to go get you some diapers? Would you like some food? What do you need? Really, I truly want to help you. And he just kept crying, and then he wouldn't take any more money from me. But he did take my phone number, and I said, okay, you just call me anytime, day or night, and I'll meet you and I'll help you. And so that's how I got my purse back.
Small acts of kindness go a long way.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought, what would Swami do? Because he told the story when he first had the ashram. Some, I guess, burglars came in to steal his stuff, and they ended up being his strongest devotees and workers in the ashram. So, you know, you never know.
And you never know how that small act of
And no
kindness.
fear.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't afraid of him. I could see in his eyes. He wasn't a wild drug addict, because you know those crazy kinds. But he definitely had very kind eyes. I could see it, and I could see his heart too. So.
And some, you don't know, you know, what just that act of kindness sometimes can shake somebody out of their illusion, whatever you want to call it, to say, wow, I need to really get some help. And maybe it's time for me to take a real look at what's happening. It just allows maybe that moment to really have some clarity thinking. So you just don't know where that will lead that person.
Oh, I gave him a picture of Swami and Baba too. He took it, and I told him to keep it in his wallet, keep it by his side, and then whenever he felt depressed, to look at it, and that they would help him. And he did. He took that picture and he looked right into it, and he put it in his pocket.
That's, yeah, amazing. See, small acts of kindness. What we're doing on our day-to-day makes a difference.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a great story. Thank you for sharing. And Swami always said all someone needs to do is look at his picture once, you know, or look at Baba's picture once, and that's it. You know, there's the soul connection, and they're there. You know, they take care of the soul.
I thought also, if you mention Swami's name, that also connects somebody. It gives them that blessing, and it allows that connection to be there. So if I'm talking about my experiences, I managed to try to bring Swami's name into the discussion, so I can just say his name so they get that blessing. So anyway. So anybody, Mohini or Paul, want anything else about Guru Purnima? Okay.
Did you want to talk, Paul, a little bit about some of the ways to phrase intention?
Yeah.
You had some good ideas yesterday.
Yeah. So the past like 10 minutes has been like a massive download. I mean, it's like I had to just kind of like adjust my seat and take a deep breath and just kind of like just the energy of it, and also the information was massive. I mean, thank God we're recording this, and you know, you can kind of go back over and really kind of listen to it again, you know. Um, you know, we were talking yesterday. First of all, did anybody have any questions or anything that that wanted clarification before we kind of talk on this? Because it's a really important transition, you know, going into next week. Karen, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to thank, just a second, Andrea and Mechtil, if I said her name correctly, I don't know, for their presentation on Shiva. So I sat all week long. Every time I'm going to do the sky mantra, and immediately there was nothing all week long. There was no mantra, nothing, just silence. And I've never had that happen before. So I'm not too sure what's going on. And I've meditated for 40 years or so.
Silence. Silence is
Beautiful.
it's really great. Silence
Yeah.
is the object, you know. In the silence,
Okay.
everything's there.
Then just quickly an experience that we cannot explain. We have a 5-gallon jug of water, and Andrea and Mechtel said that Shiva is very drawn to water, which I didn't know. And my husband went to pick it up to put it in this holder so that we can get water out of it. And it had all disappeared except for maybe about 3 inches at the bottom. And we were like, our minds went, okay, where did it go? Okay, it went to the basement. No, it's not down. It is gone. 5
Wonderful.
gallons of water.
Shiva was thirsty.
I guess so. So the bottom line is, as a group, we're obviously creating a tremendous amount of power. And so I want to keep harnessing this somehow.
Yeah, that's a powerful story. Actually, Swami did a miracle at the ashram once where he filled up the Dwarkamai with water.
Yeah.
I mean, just filled with water.
Yeah.
And then it was locked. And do you want to add? And then it disappeared.
Okay.
The water just disappeared.
Well,
and Swami was talking about Shiva.
Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you again, Andrea and Mechtel. That was really helpful what you said last week. So.
Yeah, it was powerful last week. Thank you. Paul, did you want to add anything about that?
I'm just deep in the silence right now, just kind of enjoying the the bliss of the experience. It's just the energy in this particular satsang is extremely powerful, So yes, Suzanne, did you have a question or would you want to say?
Because now Guru Purnima is coming and my experience is already so strong with the lineage. And then I was thinking about the divine soul process that we made was also to connect the divine soul. But in this time I had like nearly no connection to this lineage and I was connecting to a deity from my tradition. So when I would like to connect to Swami or Baba more, I mean, now I think of them and they are there. So should I also use the mantra or is it like a more stronger? I mean, I can't imagine it's more stronger than because now they are there all the time. So what is the use of this channel? Or I can't grab a way to use it.
You can use that mantra whenever you like, actually. You can use that mantra if you feel in your heart walking down the street and you want to connect to them, you can use that mantra to connect. It's there for you to use however you like. You can use it full moon and new moon. You can sit down and chant the mantra and place your intention to connect to them and do a meditation for 20 minutes, half hour.
You can also use your personal mantra, which connects directly to Shiva, also to the Guru Parampara.
Yes. So if I feel connected, then it's just many ways, right? It's just one way. And
same tree, different branches, lots of different ways to connect.
And when I did the process, the name of the divine soul was in the mantra. Then I can use any now of them. I just change. I see. Yeah.
You can, and you can the process over too if you want with Swami's name instead or with Baba's name. You're the creator. You can use it however you choose.
Okay.
Ultimately, they're all connected. It's just one level of consciousness. So
this is a really great example how we've generated the energy and we've manifested the presence of a divine soul. So now the question is, now that you've got this divine soul active in your life, what's the next step, right? It's kind of like, it has to do with the intention, like what do you need and what is it that's going to help the planet? And so, we were talking, before, oftentimes Swami would ask, like, what do you want? Because when a divine soul comes to you, you have to be ready. You have to be prepared. You can't just kind of like go, great to see you. This is a wow experience, It's not about those moments. It's about encashing the moment to really capitalize on those experiences in the moment to get you to another level. So, for example, you know, you can ask for an intention to remove fear from your life. You can ask for an intention to heal the heartbreak of whoever comes to you. You can ask for the intention to be able to awaken anybody's heart that you come in contact with. You can use it to handle any poison in the planet. You can ask for the boon to connect to the angels, to understand how to work with the angels, to how to bless other people in their lives for prosperity and happiness and a peaceful life. So these are things that you're receiving an ability or a capacity or they call it boons because it's like a gift. You know, you want to be able to bless people with a Mother Divine Darshan, you know, or you can say, I'll give you a more practical example, okay? You want to be able to handle anybody who is heartbroken in a way that they can purge their anger from their life and open their heart. Please give me that ability, Baba, in order to help those recognize that they are divine. You can say, give me the ability to soul travel so I can help people through distance healings. Things like that. I mean, one of the things that I asked Baba was to say, Baba, how do I heal a person's heart that's been broken? You know, that, you know, or how do I get people from trauma? You know, because we've all had traumas, you know. How do I get someone to go from trauma to falling in love with the divine? How can I awaken the spark of love in a person's heart so that they can give up their addictions or give up their negative tendencies? Things like that, I think, is what Swami wanted to do with us as students. You know, he would say, okay, you'd have Mother Divine Darshan, but what are you going to ask in that moment? If Mother Divine materialized in front of you, or if Shirdi Sai Baba materialized in front of you, what would you ask for that would help him in his mission and be an instrument in the world that could help other people? Or give me the blessing of Saraswati so that I can teach the knowledge in a way that will open people's hearts to be interested in this knowledge. You know, bless me with the Vishnu channel so that I can help people with their protection circles against negativity. Give me the ability to handle any negativity on the planet, bar none. Negative spirits, satanic people, people that are possessed, people that are in depression. You know, it's kind of like to have the gift to be able to lift people out of depression. You know, because we all go through our bouts of depression. You know, how to transmute the poison. I mean, these are powerful examples of techniques. You know, give me the capacity that I can take the poison, like Shiva, because that's what Shiva does. Shiva is the master of being able to handle any poison on the planet. Or give me the ability to awaken a person's soul and to take them out of soul depression. Give me the ability to awaken people's consciousness. Give me the ability to purify any chakra of any person that comes to me. Any other suggestions, Mohini and Kowski, that you might have? I mean, these are the ones that come to my mind because they're directly linked with the channels. They're directly linked with the processes. They're directly linked with all the different aspects of his teachings. Like purify the poison. That's the 5 elements. To be able to connect to Mother Divine. That's the womb chakra. To heal heartbreak. That's womb chakra. To be able to handle any poison on the planet. You know, that's the Shiva channels. To be able to open people's hearts. That's the Jesus channels. To be able to connect to a power object. That's another channel. To be able to talk to the angels. That's Paramashiva Yoga. To talk about going back and healing heartbreak. Kala chakra. Womb chakra. 5 elements. All these channels. So going into this Guru Purnima, depending on your soul character, you will ask for the boon that is complementary of your soul's capacity, whatever it is. And that capacity you may be able to implement in your work that you do. Doreen is a physical therapist, massage person, so she'll be able to implement it during her sessions with her clients. Sophie will go to the bakery down the street in her little town, and just by smiling at the baker will help heal him through her eyes. Anju will go to the market in New Jersey, and she'll talk to the person at the cashier and who's just had a boyfriend who broke her heart, and just by her smile, that person will get relief. Spiro will be making pizzas, and he'll be putting the mantras of the gift of the blessing that he received through Mother Divine Darshan. Will be able to heal that person who ate the pepperoni pizza that he made. Or he'll be strumming his vina, and then all of a sudden the vibrations of love will permeate the sound vibrations of one of his students that he's teaching how to do something. You never know. Susan could be walking down the street, and then somebody will be walking, and they'll stop and they'll say, "Hi, Suzanne," and you'll pet the dog of that person, and you'll say, "I'm fine, I'm doing great, and how are you?" And then they'll have a conversation. Andrea will take her Shiva Lingam, she'll do an Abhishek, she'll repeat the mantras, and she'll give those mantras in that water as healing for other people. You know, like Pam. Simple things, you know, it could have gone another way, you know, it could have gone to reported this and that and so on and so forth. Now that person received love through that generosity and through that compassion. You know, you can ask for a boon. I want to become more like Jesus. I want to understand the mechanism of a divine soul we know as Jesus. I want to be able to help other people in the way that Jesus did. You know, these are just examples, you know. It could be a simple thing, you know. Give me the capacity to spread love with people around me. Give me a greater capacity to love. Let my heart open up so that I can love like Jesus. These are real examples that, you know, when you're in the midst of the Guru Purnima moment, you know, it could be you want Mother Divine Darshan. Baba, please bless me. I want to witness a darshan of Mother Divine. I want that experience. But then drop the expectations that Mother Divine could come in the form of anybody. But you have to be aware of it, you know, like I'm being aware of the time. Sorry, guys. I just got on a roll here, and I know it's 11:28. But if we don't talk about these things, I mean, this path is about mechanisms. It's about, you know, Mohini and Kowski, you guys have been in so many processes where you were trained in those moments to know what to ask for. And that's what we're talking about here. As well as Andrea, as well as Doreen, as well as Anju, Metchold, you know, Karen, Sophie. You guys were trained in this capacity to know what to ask for. I'm out of suggestions, guys.
Yeah, I think we all just need to go into meditation and really think deeply on what we would like to ask for, what it is in our next development phase of our soul, as well as bringing whatever we receive onto the planet to help. So this week, what we're going to do, connecting deeply to the our teacher, Swami Kaleshwar, we're going to do 20 minutes of our personal mantra with Swami's personal mantra. And then before you're falling asleep, you're going to chant the Ta Bija with your personal mantra. So Om Ta, your personal mantra. As you're drifting off to sleep, opening the heart, allowing for that divine energy to enter in our deep state of sleep and awareness.
So just
So,
if I can just add to that, Kowski, the top,
yeah.
Can you repeat that?
the Ta Bijas.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah,
hear that. Could you please
I
repeat
don't
it?
went out.
Okay, so during the day, for 20 minutes, you're going to do your personal mantra and Swami's personal mantra. Mohini, you're going to put it in the chat. Okay.
Mhm.
And then while you're drifting off to sleep, you're going to do the Ta Bija with your personal mantra. So it goes Om Ta and your personal mantra as you're drifting off to sleep. It
So
also helps it opens the heart, but it also helps to get your soul ready for soul travel.
And we do this like we say this one time or
No, you just keep chanting it and then you just kind of drift off to sleep. It takes you into a very deep sleep.
it's a very powerful process, and it has been given in many, many processes. And Swami talked about the power of the Ta Bija. It's a vibrational frequency that's connected to the heart, and it's also connected to the earth element, and it's also connected to your master. And it's all about the heart chakra, opening and strengthening and really purifying that chakra, because that's the secret chakra. I mean, all the chakras are important, but that's the hub.
That's also, Ta is the bija in Mother Divine's heart. If you look at the Mahakali yantra, the Ta bija is in also her heart. Mohini put in the chat, but if you're on the phone, Swami's personal mantra, Sharam, Sharam, Amruta Sharam Avaham. She says, no diksha, use any time. This is the pin code to his soul.
It's
You receive
Kshiram.
the benefit, Sharam.
Kshiram.
Sharam.
It's KSH.
KSH.
Very, very
Kshiram.
powerful. It's a very powerful bija. It represents milk, and in it is a very, very powerful meaning. But just to reflect that.
Yeah. So you can
Sorry, when I
use-
put it in the chat, it lost the formatting.
Yes, that's okay. So anyways, you can use that anytime, you know, link it with your personal mantra. Very powerful. So we want to do a 5-minute meditation, sending healing to those who need healing. Ronalda requested it also for her own, she has a personal health issue going on. So we're going to use, are we going to use the Guru Purnima, which is the 5 elements mantra, to send those. So think of those that could really use some healing, and we'll do that for 5 minutes.
Yeah, if it's something that yourself you're going through, or family, friends, clients, think of, you know, a specific person. This is not like a global world meditation. This is people you know or yourself. Think on that person, think on the problem, and we'll send our healing energy out.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, everybody. Mohini, you want to talk about the group intention? Okay, so we'll just, okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm in another planet right now, but so we talked about the group intention as being to connect very strongly to the Guru Parampara, to receive a blessing. And what was the other part, Paul?
Yeah, just, you know, what's really important in this tradition is to get a reflection back.
Oh, to write the reflection back from the nature.
Right.
Good.
Last year, as an example, as a reflection, or was it 2 years ago? I think it was last year. You know, we did a Guru Purnima process, and we asked for Baba or the Guru Parampara to give us a reflection that demonstrated, or was a confirmation. And so one of the Shiva lingams in our temple bled Amruta. And so we videotaped it and we put it on our website so you can see that miracle happen. And it was more a reflection that the Guru Parampara heard our intention and it kind of reflected back. Like Mohini, she also asked for a reflection from her group process in New York, and her Shiva lingam in her center also bled at, you know, a few years back, right? So it's that
Blood oil.
oil, right? And so it's really important in this mechanism of this, of our energy, that we see the nature reflect back to us our intention back as a group. That's the point. So that you can say, wow, I get it. My energy, austerity powers, group sankalpam, it manifests and it comes back in a way that will bless the world. And that's what happened. And it's important. It's an important part of the mechanism. So I think that as a group intention, there's the personal intention, and then there's the overall group intention manifestation, to see something manifest from the group effort.
Right. And it may manifest, let's say, just in the temple, but it may manifest in each person's life in a different way. So, but together as a group, we're asking for a reflection.
So a reflection from nature, does it mean like anything also like this Vishnu side I saw? Is this also a reflection back from nature?
That's the divine, yes, communicating with you, giving you a message. In this particular case, we're making a specific request for a reflection. We get messages that the divine is present very often. Sometimes we see them and sometimes we don't. Because the divine is always communicating with us, and they don't typically communicate in words, they communicate in other ways. You know, and it could be visions, dreams, or things in our world, like you'll see that image of the Vishnu sign. So that's there's a lot in that symbol for you. So we get a lot of guidance that way. In this particular case, we're placing a specific intention to connect very strongly to the Guru Parampara, and to get a reflection that they are there and they heard and they're blessing our process. So we want to see that come back in a specific reflection. So in a way that we clearly understand that they're communicating with us. Right. So like Paul was saying, the lingam bled. I mean, that's a miraculous process. And that may happen again, or it may be something completely different. Right. Kieran's water disappearing. Okay, that is a clear reflection of miracle energy present
Right.
in response to the work that you're doing. You know, they show us very often through miracle happenings. I mean, that's how they communicate, that they're there, their energy is flowing, you're on the right track. You know, they're there helping us along and giving us that positive reflection. So in this particular case, we're asking, as part of the blessing, the boon, that we're shown that they are there and they've blessed the process. And for each one of us, it may show up differently, you know, or it may be just one group event happening at Paul's temple or my temple or Kausiki's or any of yours. I mean, we don't know. The divine chooses how it will be present, but we're asking for something to come back to us so we know that they heard the prayer, answered the prayer, blessed it.
It could be that a Baba picture could manifest Vibhuti. It could be a statue
Yeah.
that reads Amrutam. It could be a Mother Divine statue having kumkum come out of her hand. Could be any different traditional manifestations. Baba could come to you in his physical form. You know, we've had the Baba statue in our temple. A Indian devotee came in, and then all of a sudden the statue turned into flesh. Could be like that. You know, it just depends how they would like to have it manifest.
And it's always miraculous and wonderful. So no matter what it is, it's great.
So if you
All
see,
right, well, enjoy your week.
so if you see any older people with a headscarf and a stick in their hand, stop, say hi, touch his feet, ask for a blessing, and whatever it is that you think of that you might need.
So, yeah.
And say, who are you
Who
really?
are you really? Right.
Who are you
So,
really?
Paul will be televising through Facebook the Abhishek of Baba next Saturday morning, 4th of July, because there's a solar eclipse on the 5th morning. And the Homa in the evening, 7 o'clock Pacific time, 10:30 in the morning Pacific time for the Abhishek.
Right. And then when do you guys want to have another satsang? Like 2 weeks from this Sunday? From next Sunday? Do you need a break for 2
How
weeks?
about we'll just get hold of everybody via email.
Yeah. Send us an email when you guys want to do that, and then we'll figure out a date.
Well, it's good also to take a break maybe because the ashram's got a lot going on virtually. Some of us are going to be hooked into that.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so we'll just take a break, and then we'll let everybody know
Okay, and
via email.
that sounds good. And I'm going to have a puja here for anyone who's in the East Coast, New York area, and we'll do that in the morning before Paul's Abhishek. So it'll be like 10 o'clock here. Anju? I haven't sent the email yet, but there will be a puja here.
All right. So, closing mantra. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have a terrific week, everybody. And happy Guru Purnima early.
Happy Guru Purnima, virtual hugs.
Yeah, virtual hugs, exactly.
Have fun.